and welcome back to That's One of My Favorite Podcasts. I'm one of your hosts, Samara.
And I'm Emily.
And this week, we watched Gentlemen Prefer Blondes. And I know that at the end of our last episode, we both weren't sure if we had seen it. I for sure hadn't seen it.
I have not. And really the only scene that I have seen is the diamonds are a girl's best friend.
Yep,
That's
diamonds are a girl's best friend. That's, yeah. But yeah, so 1953, and it stars Jane Russell and Marylin Monroe. And some gentlemen that honestly don't have a lot to do with the plot of this film.
No, not really.
I was very shocked with how, forward this movie was. Was this pre-Hays Code? When did the Hays Code start? No, this isn't pre-Hays Code. Well, the reason I ask is because the Hays Code came in 1930s and really took to what everybody could have in their movies. Mm-hmm. It really, the sex jokes, the innuendos, what the women could wear, what the women could say, things like that. It's actually one of the reasons why people think America is so behind as far as, feminism, LGBT rights, things like that, is because of the Hays Code stopping it. Because it's made everything this taboo secret thing versus just, this is part of life, the end.
Yeah.
And there were a couple times where I'm like, was this pre-Hays Code?
Yeah.
Because they got a little risque.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
No, they did, and they definitely would like the innuendos, too.
There were a couple of them that I didn't understand, and we'll get into it more. But there were a couple of times where I was like, what are you guys alluding to?
Yeah.
Am I just used to it being blatant jokes now? Or, is the art of subtlety lost? So, 1953, it was filmed in the same boat that ended up being used as the Titanic, or it was filmed in the Titanic. Mm-hmm. Which is pretty cool.
That fact.
And it was a Fox production. And originally they wanted Betty Grable, who I have not ever heard of, as the leading lady, Marylin Monroe's character, Lorelei Lee.
She was one of the most famous actresses at the time of this filming. Let me look up. I've heard of her before, but let me look up what movie she's in, and you might.
I'm looking at the movies, and I haven't seen anything. I mean, I'm looking at her stuff now, and I'm not seeing anything that I am familiar with. That doesn't mean anything, but I mean, I guess culturally, I'm not seeing anything big. So I thought that was interesting. The reason that they did not get Betty Grable was because Betty Grable cost $150,000 per deal, according to her contract. And Marylin, I believe, was $500 a week.
Yeah, it's $18,000.
Which is insane to think about.
In today's standard, but then she was hot dog. Yeah, because that was before she was really, really popular.
And I think skyrocketed.
Oh yeah, this definitely put her on the map.
Yeah, my jaw hit the floor when I read that.
Yeah.
That she only cost...
And the fact, did you read that Jane Russell got $200,000?
Yeah, and I remember Marylin was upset about that, and she attributed it to her blondness, which I do not understand this quote-unquote colorism that happened back in the day. I understand the, actual colorism and the actual, that's easier for me to grasp than the blonde hair brunette. I'm confused. Mm-hmm. But she attributed it to her being blonde. that is crazy to think about, because again, I'm looking at Betty Grable's, as we're talking, I'm looking at Betty Grable's list, and I see nothing of cultural significance, in my opinion. Whereas Marilyn Monroe herself is cultural, like,
after this movie,
what?
she was. Betty
Oh, yeah.
Betty Grable. I've seen the How to Marry a Millionaire that has Marilyn
Marilyn
Monroe in
Monroe.
it, which was after this movie. But and I've heard of some of the films that she's been in, but I hadn't really sat down and watched them. Like, she didn't. She's not a household name like Marilyn ended up becoming.
Yeah,
She
which
became
is
basically a
again
mega
crazy.
star.
Yeah. So according to Marilyn, she wasn't treated great on set, and but Jane and her apparently got along, so that's all that matters apparently.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I'm breathing really heavy. I just got over like a cold thing, and I feel like I'm like,
I don't
into
hear it.
everybody's ears. So I apologize if that is what's happening. I also have headphones in to try to minimize the sound issues that we've been having. So, yeah. Anyway, yes, deep, calming, cleansing breaths. So, gentlemen prefer blondes. Literally, if you type in this movie, it's what is the message behind Gentlemen Prefer Blondes? What is the plot? Because the plot is loose a goose, in
The
my
plot
opinion.
is Miss Lorelai Lee is a gold digger.
Okay, so yes, out the gate, you come across a club. You are thrown into a club with two little girls from Little Rock.
Mm-hmm.
They apparently are best friends who went out and became cabaret singers, and they are just two little girls from, and you see this one little boy, and I thought he was, I say boy because he acts like a boy in this. I'm not trying to be disrespectful to him. I'm not trying to anything. He in my opinion is like a little boy, and he's
You talking about
waving at
Gus?
Lorelai. Yeah, I'm talking about Gus Esmond.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, so we're introduced to Mr. Esmond. But just briefly, he's blowing kisses as they're singing. And they go to the back, and Lorelai and Dorothy, Jane Russell's character, are discussing love, life, and the pursuit of happiness.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So she says, I think I saw a box in Esmond's pocket, in Gus's pocket. And I love Dorothy's response to that of, you're the only person with lights shining in your face like that to see a diamond.
Well, I wrote
in
it
the
down. You
crowd
may
or
be the
something.
only girl that can be on stage and in the spotlight and still see a diamond-shaped box in a man's pocket.
Yeah, dude. She, it would probably help if I had my notes actually up. I'm trying to do this by memory. For what?
For what?
For what? But yeah, so, you're the only person who can see a diamond-shaped box in a crowd, and, like, that cracked me up. But yeah, so Lorelai calls her out, and she's like, listen here, you're the person who loves poor men. You don't care, as long as they look good, you don't care what they have in their pockets.
Mm-hmm.
So they are very inverse. Not only are they blonde and brunette, which is like the biggest difference you could ever have in anyone.
Not
but
only blonde
Lorelai,
and brunette, it's like dumb blonde and smart brunette.
well, yeah. So,
Don't ruin the ending.
so I know that's why I said yeah. So Lorelai, who is Marilyn Monroe, who is the blonde, her perfect man. It does not matter what he looks like. It does not matter who he is, as long as he has money.
Mm-hmm.
Dorothy wants a good-looking man, and he can be poor as poor can be. That's all that matters, and she wants him to look good. And they are both, like, I almost feel like Lorelai is more actively disgusted by Dorothy than Dorothy is of Lorelai. Like, Dorothy seems to just go along with Lorelai in anything, whereas Lorelai actually is kind of, like, taking digs and is, like, I feel like disgusted.
Yeah. In her man choice, yeah, because she's like, why would you just marry a Joe Blow and when you could have money?
Yeah, I mean,
And Dorothy's
she
like,
really.
why do I need money when I prefer the man?
Yeah, I mean, Dorothy's like, as long as I'm having a good time,
And he's
doesn't
good to
matter.
look at. I don't care.
But yeah, I mean, I just like I said, I feel like Lorelai is more actively disgusted in Dorothy's choice, whereas in my opinion, I'm more disgusted in Lorelai's choice.
Hmm.
And yeah, um, so while Marilyn is singing, just to back up for a few seconds, Marilyn, I forgot what Marilyn actually sounds like because this voice that she puts on is a voice
Hmm. It's what
when
people
she
wanted to hear.
sings.
It's like low and husky.
Yeah, but it's so crazy to me because Jane Russell doesn't talk like that. Jane Russell's not like, oh, I just want a man that's handsome. Jane Russell's like, yeah, dog, I want a man that's handsome. Like,
Yeah.
again, I don't understand. I would love to sit down with somebody and be like, explain the hair. Explain it to me.
Yeah.
And this trope. I don't get it. And I guess it's not relevant anymore.
Hmm. Well, the dumb
Um,
blonde jokes still exist, but it's not nearly as what's the word I'm looking for, as
Prevalent.
stereotypical in
Yeah.
today's society, but there's still kind of that joke hanging around, but you don't see it as much in like movies or TV shows or
I almost feel like the dumb blonde joke is the joke itself now.
yeah.
Like, the joke is, you have no more jokes, you go to the dumb blonde joke.
Yeah,
Like,
no, I would agree.
bah ha ha.
Yeah. And I almost wonder if just thinking of Marilyn Monroe's career and what ended up happening to Marilyn, if the society back then just put her in that little box of you've got to be sensual, you've got to be kind of a dumb blonde, because of most of her movies that she's in that I've seen, it's the same character,
Same
essentially.
character.
She's typecast. She's the sex figure of the world at one point in time. So I feel like because this put her in the map and she started acting like this, maybe that's what got her stuck into it.
Maybe. I know that, like, also, too, I feel really bad for her. If you actually read about her and, like, listen to podcasts,
There's
you
a
must remember
Netflix
this.
documentary about her that was heart-wrenching.
She was so shy.
Oh, yeah.
Like, she was incredibly, like, introspective and shy and stuff like that. So, yeah. Anyway. So, they think that guy's gonna propose. Dorothy's kind of like, girl, what do you even see in him? Like, his dad's not gonna let him do anything. He doesn't do anything with daddy's approval. And I love my favorite like trope of this is when Lorelai kisses Gus on the mouth and he just like
Yeah.
like freezes up, and she says, I don't know what you do, honey, unless you put Novocaine in your lipstick. And she is actively, like, staring because she knows it happens every time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, as soon as she saw them kiss, she went up and was like, Anyway, like, examines the kid. And it's just like, keep saying kid. He really is. Like, I need y'all to go watch this movie. This man is a child. I'm not trying to be weird, but, like, there's no other way to explain it. But she watches him and she's like, he just freezes for, like, a solid 10 seconds. So he does end up proposing to her. And she tells Dorothy that they're going to Europe on a cruise. And they're going to go get married. And Dorothy's like, okay, let's not do that. Like, I love how, like, just blatant she is.
She's like, how about we don't?
Like, we're not going to do that.
You want to know my first cringe of this movie?
Yeah.
It happened almost immediately. Is when she calls him daddy.
Yes, I have that too.
I was like,
Daddy,
can
daddy.
we not? It's like, please stop.
Yeah, it was not cute at
I was
all.
not
I don't
expecting it either.
I think, well, yeah, again, I was like, is this pre-Hays Code? What's going on here? Excuse me. I think a big part of it too is the way that she is talking, which is infantilizing herself, while also simultaneously saying daddy and acting like a little, like, the whole crux of it all. She's not just like, oh, daddy, thank you. Like, she's like, daddy, like, oh. Even just pretending to do it to no one is a problem.
Nick was, like, in the room with me, and I paused it. I was like, did she just call him daddy? And he just started dying laughing. He was like, on that note, I'm going upstairs.
Yeah.
I was like, no way did she just call him daddy. Yep, she most certainly did. And she does it more than once.
She does. And like, she also does this thing, which we'll talk about in a second, that she kind of started to do here, but not as much. She doesn't now, I will say, she doesn't do this thing as much with Gus. And I haven't explained it yet, but you'll see. Mm-hmm. So, while he's proposing, while they're laying this plan out for Dorothy, his dad calls. And she's like, off to daddy, like, whatever. And Lorelai tells her, she's like, listen here, I'm going to Europe. It doesn't matter if Esmond comes with me. Mm-hmm. I'm going to Europe, with or without him, and I'm not leaving Europe until
he comes and gets me.
Until he comes and gets me. Which, like, good for her. Okay, honestly, get that money. Mm-hmm. So they go to get onto the cruise ship. Lorelai does this thing where she tries to talk eloquently and smarter, mm-hmm. and she slows her voice down, and she almost rounds her notes and rounds what she says. And she says, oh, thank you ever so, which makes no sense. Thank you ever so makes no sense. Thank you ever so much. Thank you ever so kindly. But thank you ever so.
Thank you ever so.
And she literally asked them, is this the cruise to get to Europe, Paris? And the guy's like, do what? And Dorothy's like, hey, Paris is in Europe. You wouldn't ask somebody to go to, and she's like, whatever do you mean? And she's like, you wouldn't ask them to go to the United States.
Trying to go.
Yes. She's like, would you ask them if you wanted to go to North America, Mexico? She's like, if that's where one was trying to go, then yes. I'm like, what are you doing? It makes me laugh that she thinks, I don't even know what she thinks.
I mean, I know what she's doing.
What is she doing?
Look, she's putting on a show and acting dumb.
Yeah.
But trying to sound smart while acting dumb.
But also acting dumb. Yeah. I don't actually agree that she's actually all that smart, but we'll get to it.
Well, no. But she's also not as dumb as she puts on.
Well, yeah, you definitely see that throughout, that she's not. I mean, she's not walking around, tripping over stuff. Well. Okay, anyway. So.
Well, she did that too. Hang on, we'll get there.
She did that. Yeah, we'll get there. So, I love this line that Gus is really trying to get on Dorothy, which makes me bust out laughing. When I tell you, like, when they walk on to the dock, men are like, their wives are wrenching their faces back to them. Men are gawking, which their costuming does look fabulous, and they actually really do look out of place versus all these other people. I started looking in the background after I noticed it, and I was like, no one else is really dressed in colors like them or in the fashion like them. Like,
it's almost like they're always on a stage.
Yeah, they are. And which is, I think is part of them as characters, but it also, I think, was a really good choice from the director to, like, no one else is wearing orange. No one else is wearing yellow. No one else is wearing, these colors. So Gus is trying to tell Dorothy, don't let Lorelai have any fun. Like, keep her lock and key. And Dorothy's like, I'm the chaperone. Nobody chaperones the chaperone. The chaperone is here to make sure they don't have fun, not that the chaperone doesn't have fun. Like, she's like, I'm going to do it. Poor Gus. I don't know what he thought was going to happen.
No.
At all. But Dorothy is super into it. And Lorelai doesn't look like she notices at all. Which, like, again, good for her. But she, again, as we established, she doesn't care what men look like.
No.
She could not care less.
Yeah.
But Dorothy's eating it up. There's a whole Olympic team that is just... I love the line where the guy's like, Stuart. He's like, I'm here. And he's like, why didn't you answer? He's like, I'm busy. He's just gawking. They're gawking at these two women. It made me laugh. So I also thought it was weird that they could all come into the cruise ship for a while and hang out.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, if you didn't have a ticket.
Yeah.
Like, isn't that how you get a stowaway?
That's my thing. I was like, you can't clear out. You can't. Everybody come to dinner. No. Like, you can't.
No ticket, no entry.
No ticket, no entry. Yeah, so there also is a moment where you see a man being pointed out Lorelai. Mm-hmm. And he's like, there's the blonde, you need to watch her. And he's like, I'll keep an eye on her. So it's some sort of cop. Some sort of, ooh, like that's what I have is like rando cop. What's going on? Why is he looking into Lorelai? Something interesting too that I don't see necessarily how we can fit it 100% in, so I'll just fit it in now. Apparently, Marylin kept wanting retakes of all of her scenes and all of her lines. And Fox contacted the director and was like, hey, you guys are behind schedule. What's going on? And director said, I have 3 choices for you. Fire Marilyn Monroe, fix the script, or get a new director.
I saw that. Yeah, that made me chuckle.
Because apparently she didn't think she was doing a good job, even though everybody is agreeing that she did a great job and that the takes were fine. She was like, no, they're not. But yeah, so they go in, there's a random cop, and they both do look really stunning. I love her blue dress with the leopard cape. Mm-hmm.
There's so many times that I was like, God, that's gorgeous. When it comes to what they're wearing.
So this is a wonderful array of costumes. And it's so good. I love the men following them literally into their rooms. Mm-hmm. Following them into their rooms. 30 men. And again, Lord, yes. Not one guy, not 2. Like, there's a trail of men that are following them
team
into their room.
And Dorothy's like, come on, guys. Come on in. Like, player status.
Yeah. So, Dorothy's eating it up. Gus is sweating. He is so worried. Even though Lorelai is not paying any attention at all. Gus is sweating. He's worried to death. But she's like, I gotta get this bag, honey. Gotta get it. So Dorothy starts having a party in the room. Mm-hmm. And, there's no way I can type and talk, so I don't even know why I thought I could do that. So she starts having a party in the room. And Gus is like, oh God, what's happening? And they start singing about how, bye bye baby, I'm gonna be so alone. But Dorothy's like, the whole time indicating I'm not gonna be alone. Like, did you see the random lady with the dog? There's a lady holding a poodle this whole scene.
How did I miss that?
I'll send you, I have a screen, I took a picture. This lady, they're singing, they're like, bye bye baby, bye bye bye. And the dog's like, it's a little brown toy poodle.
Are you talking about like one of the ladies that's like singing with her?
Yes.
She's holding a dog.
Yes.
Well, the whole time I was looking at the one who was, because obviously back then they're on a soundstage, so they're lip singing. You can tell that there's one like kind of in that front bottom corner that doesn't really know the words.
Embarrassing.
And like she's like a little behind or like fumbles over a word, but she's just like like She don't know what's going
I
on.
didn't see her. I was distracted by the dog. I was like, what in the world?
If I would have seen the dog, I would have been like, this poor dog.
Oh, yeah, no. As soon as I saw the dog, I was like, where's the dog? Is the dog okay? Is the dog allowed on a cruise ship? What's happening here? They take off. They sail. When they go, they actually sail off. The dog is next to her. Next to Dorothy.
Never saw a dog.
Well, we never see it again, so it wasn't, I guess it's super important. So they sing this song. I think that Jane Russell does a phenomenal job of sharing the stage. Like, she was bringing in other players while she was singing. She was really engaging with them. It didn't feel like forced engagement. Like I thought she was doing a really good job, because then it made me focus on, like, oh, well, who is that she's singing? Like, she really seemed like, I'm singing at my best friend, and this is and I'm singing at this friend, and I was like, who are these friends? Like, okay, you know. So I thought she did a really good job of, like, working with other people. You don't see that a lot with big, you know, there's not a lot of interaction. But she did a really good job. I really liked it. And she did it for all her songs that she had people in. I felt like she was engaging in people, which then engaged with me. So then Lorelai, Gus is freaking out, so she pulls him into her room and starts singing about how she's gonna miss him.
Oh, it gave me big time Happy Birthday, Mr. President vibes.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. And as much uncomfort as I felt, I was like, this is very seductive. Like, this could, if somebody was doing this to me, this would work. Like, I think
she knows exactly what to do and say to keep him, like, wrapped around her little finger. From the very beginning.
So, oh wait, I was supposed to look up something. Book by Mr. Gideon. The loose woman who observed. The book by Mr. Gideon, better known as the Bible. What?
You can't see my facial expression. When you said the loose woman.
L-O-O-S. The L-O-O-S woman. I don't know if it's supposed to be loose or not. Gold digger. Los? The Los woman.
The Moppy Lion.
The book by Mr. Gideon is better known by the Bible as the Bible. How clever of Robin to uniquely establish Lorelai's naivety or stupidity in not knowing what the Gideon Bible was. Oh! This bitch dum-dum. Okay. So she sings. Lorelai is trying to seduce this man, and while she's trying to seduce this man, she says that she is going to read she might curl up by herself and read the book by Mr. Gideon. And I typed, what is the book by Mr. Gideon? Because I needed to know what that was. According to what I just read, it is her being so dumb, she didn't know that the Gideon Bible was just the Bible. She thought it was some special book. I don't get that joke.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I'm sorry. Sure, she's an idiot, but this is kind of what we're talking about, of where the, like, innuendos and the sprinkling kind of get lost on us. Like, the quote-unquote subtlety?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe
well, it was so subtle that I didn't even notice it.
Yeah, she said she was going to curl up with her diary or the book by Mr. Gideon, and my head immediately went to, like, a Karma Sutra, like, she's trying to seduce ya, like, style, but, look, I was expecting to, like, see 1950s pornography pop up and, like, have to explain to Daniel why it says that on our thing, like, and it's the Bible, like, okay, like, sure. Oh, I didn't get it. Sorry.
You're okay.
Anyway, so Dorothy decides to go out on the veranda. When I tell you, this coat, I need this coat. I need somebody to make. I will commission, if anyone who listens to this podcast sews, I will commission you to make me this coat. It is checkered black and white with a yellow silk satin peep like on the inside. The cut is so good. This coat, this is my favorite thing. I want these coats. She has 2 of them. I want them both.
Oh,
So
I see
good.
which one you're talking about.
Yes.
I literally just
I love
Googled
this outfit.
Dorothy's coat on Gentlemen Prefer Blondes, and that's the first one that pops up. The second one that pops up I'll talk about later, which is one of my favorites. So.
Okay, well, the 2 coats are the same cut coat, and this one took my breath away.
Well, that whole outfit, like the whole black jumpsuit that she has with it, is this chef's
yes. Ugh. Jane Russell is gorgeous.
Yes.
And what's so funny is I was like, Daniel, I said that when she turned I said her mouth is perfect. That's a weird thing to say, but the whole time I was like, your mouth is so, if I could just put it on mine.
Yeah.
And Daniel was like, she looks like a fish. And I was like, how dare you? Get out of my house.
How dare
Don't
you.
talk about her. But he could not understand that, which is so weird that he was like, her? And I was like, yes.
Yeah, she's pretty.
She's beautiful. Like, I don't understand.
She is what you think of, like, when you think of 1950s movie star.
Oh, yeah. I think of her. I think of Marilyn Monroe. And I think of Rita Hayworth. Mm-hmm. Like, yes, her outfit is gorgeous. She goes up to Lorelai, and Lorelai is going through the passenger list to find available men who are rich or sound rich.
But not for herself.
Yeah, no, I thought it was pretty blatant that it was for her.
I think it kind of is, but she's like, this is for you because I'm going to find you a rich man too.
And she just is talking about the Olympic team. She's going to go find the Olympic team. She doesn't even care about no rich man. She wants to just go find the whole Olympic team.
Yeah. Because she's reading off blah, 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 and valet. Blah, 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 and valet.
Mm-hmm. So, Dorothy's just like, I'm going to go to the pool area. Who decided that skin-colored... I gasped for like 2 seconds. I thought that they were about to turn. I thought that it was black. Their butt was hanging out.
Yes.
And it was going to be a cup.
Oh my God, yes. I have on my notes. I said the athletic shorts that in the workout scene is so close to the skin tone with a black cuff that I thought they were wearing like thong things with their butt out and like a jock strap.
Did I ever make you watch the Marco shows with me?
I think
with
a few.
all the drag queens. I think that just spoiled my brain because he puts out like they'll walk out and you're like that's cool, and then they'll turn around, their butt cheeks are hanging out, and I immediately thought that's what that was.
I really did too. I like had to do a double take. I was like, oh thank God they have shorts on, but man, whoever thought of that was probably like, watch this.
The gasp that I gasped was gasping.
I'm glad we were on the same page because I was literally like, what is on this TV screen right now?
No, I literally, again, because I kept questioning, and I'm like, again, is this an innuendo? Is that the joke? And was this pre-Hays Code? Which, again, we established it wasn't. But I kept going like, when? What? When? Because, what?
Yeah.
I love them prancing through the pool. When the coach started calling for them, and they're literally prancing.
Yeah.
Like
little
horsemen.
Gazelles.
Just swing, swing. And then there's a whole actual gymnastics gym on the cruise.
Mm-hmm.
What did gyms look like in 1950? Because there was a whole gymnastics gym. There was a horse. There was bars. Like, it was a gymnastics gym.
Yeah. I think of, like, those little machines that you, like, wrap around you and, like, shake you.
Oh, yeah. Well, that was for the women.
That's true.
That was...
Well, now, when I
women.
visited Biltmore before, they had, like, the rings and, like, a pommel horse and stuff like that people worked out with. So maybe that was just a form of workout.
Maybe it was.
They didn't say that they were, like, a gymnastic team. They said that they were athletes. So maybe that was just a form of full body.
You're right.
Because they didn't really have free weight, so they would have to use their body weight.
I didn't put that together. I just saw the gymnastics and really assumed that they were gymnasts. And that was like where I was like, yeah, sure, okay.
Because I feel like Dorothy said, I'm going to go find me like dibs on the shock putter or something like that.
Oh, yeah. No, she said dibs on the shot putter. Yeah.
Huh. That's just what I grasped.
No, I think you're right. And I'm like looking at pictures now of gyms in like 1950 somethings. And I actually think you're like spot on the money. So, interesting.
Thanks, Biltmore, for teaching me something about gyms.
It was like right after you went to Biltmore that I kept getting ads for Biltmore, and I was like, stop. Stop it. Right now, FBI agents. So here we come back to my age-old question that I keep presenting. She starts singing, "Is there anyone here for love?" No one is acknowledging her.
Mm-mm.
Is this our peek into the mind? Are people just ignoring? Like, I never understand. And maybe that's just me. Maybe that's some form of autism. Maybe that's whatever. I don't understand if they're singing, if they're supposed to be acknowledging, like, whatever. They don't acknowledge her. She lays up on the guys, and they're just like, ugh. But then later down the road, they start singing and randomly, and people join in.
I don't know if it's as much as, like, she's putting on a show for them and they're not supposed to, like, interact with her because they're supposed to be working out. Even though she's, like, inserting herself in the dumbbell weights that guy is, like lifting.
Right, which, I mean, that, like, if that's the case, then the guy would be like, get off of me, I'm working out. Like, so I always have hard time.
Yeah, but Pretty Girl, right next to me, she's fine.
Pretty Girl watching me work out and Pretty Girl laying on me as I'm trying to, like, do a push-up are two different things.
This is true.
So, we talked about it a little bit ourselves, but officially on the podcast. At the end of this song, she gets knocked in.
The pool, yeah.
There is a near miss that, like, took my breath away, and then she gets knocked into the pool, for real. According to everyone, this was an accident and was not supposed to happen. And she was such a professional, and she did it so well that you would not know.
Yeah, and they decided to keep it in.
I don't buy that for a second.
I
don't buy that for a second.
I don't think that I don't know that I believe that she didn't have, like, a hissy fit afterwards. Because it cuts after that, and then she's getting out of the pool like, oh, I'm fine. And continues singing. But the video that I was Snapchatting you on, that was the first time seeing it. And I was like, oh, crap. She's in the pool. So I rewound it, and I was like, was that on purpose?
According to everyone, it was not on purpose, but she just did it. And I'm like...
I don't know if you heard in my video, I went, oh, shoot.
Oh, yeah. No. Because I did the same... Like, because, again, there's, like, so many jumps. She's getting dove upon.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody almost clips her. Like, and then she bends over and gets knocked in accidentally. And I'm like, I don't know that I buy that, but okay. It's a mystery. But everybody who says it was an accident, and she did so well recovering that they just kept it in because it was so good. Sure.
Definitely caught my attention.
So, we cut back to the cop man, who we haven't seen yet.
And we
don't know what his end game is. And he comes to the head waiter of the cruise and is like, hey, I need to sit with Lorelei Lee. And he's like, everyone needs to sit with Lorelei Lee. Back off. Like, get out of here. And he's like, I'll pay you money. So he pays him money. Mm-hmm. Well, Lorelei sees this. And she comes up. She's like, I need Mr. So-and-so to come sit with me. And it's not our cop. We discover our cop's name is Monroe. Nope. Gentlemen prefer blondes. Excuse me. Sorry, I keep coughing in everyone's face. And I have to do a self-tape soon. It's Malone. I will not let you gaslight me. Again.
I swear, I have Monroe all over my notes. I gaslighted myself.
Yeah, I was like, oh, like Bugsy Malone. Like, is it going to be Bugsy Malone? Like, that's immediately where my mind went.
Like,
girl.
I so heard Monroe. Anyways, I stand
Malone.
corrected twice.
Right. Actually, I've been right every single time, and you've done this to me 3 times.
Hey, I got through last episode.
Whatever, it's fine. It's fine.
Anyways.
So, Mr. Malone.
He's Monroe for me, thank you very much.
So, she oversees him, talking to the waiter. So she comes up to the waiter and says, I need Mr. I think it's like Henry something or the third to come sit at my table. And he's like, your table is full. I can't, like, at some point it's going to be a long table in the middle of the cabin. Like, everybody. And so she says, well, I know that some men used to go to restaurants and pay to sit at my table. And he's like, okay, yeah, really? And she's like, yeah. And I know that if I don't show up, they're going to all want their money back. And he's like, oh no. Like, he has just made like $800 easy. Mm-hmm. So he's like, uh-oh. And,
you don't want me to take like, I'll make it in my cabin, do you?
Yeah, like, she's like, I'll eat my cabin. Don't mess with me. And he immediately is like, I will make it happen. No problem.
Yeah. She knows how to play him.
Yeah, that's true. So Dorothy's at the bar. Dorothy is very much like just a people's person. Mm-hmm. She's at the bar. She's hanging out. She's just like the average, typical whatever. Even though she's Jane Russell, she's stunning. And she just is chatting with these 2 guys. Just chatting. And this guy's name is something Beekman, a.k.a. Piggy. Mm-hmm. Eugene Beckman, a.k.a. Piggy. Which, that bothered me. I don't know why. I did not like everybody calling him Piggy.
I apparently can't hear worth or crap because the entire time I thought his name was Pigmund. And that's why he was named Piggy.
Oh, no, yeah.
But I just looked it up and it's Sir Francis Piggy Beekman.
Oh, I did say Eugene. Beekman, yeah.
Well, I just looked it up where I would have not known. Because I honestly thought I was like Pigmund. Like Pigmond. Pigmund, so that's why he was called
Yeah,
Pigmund.
that would make sense as to why he was
I
called
apparently
Piggy.
can't hear these people announce their names, so ignore me.
Well, they do use the transatlantic accent, which is...
And my southern ears
different.
apparently can't understand it.
I wasn't going to say it. Ellen May don't understand.
I am not as country as my family. I get it. I am to you. That's fine.
Well, what's so funny to me is, Daniel, when we hang up the phone or when we get done with this, Daniel's like, well, how you doing there, Chief? Because he's like, that's what you sound like. Not you, me. That's what I sound like. So, like, I'll hang up with you and then I'll go talk to him and be like, babe, what do you want to do tonight? And he's like, whoa. Whoa.
Oh, just wait until you're with me
This weekend.
next week.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm so excited.
Just a little shout out, everybody. You should be so excited. There's something special coming your way. Because the next showing will actually be in the same room.
Together forever. But yeah, he always laughs whenever we're done talking. He's like, I know when you've talked to Emily, because you'll come out and you'll be like, what do you want for dinner?
Me and Daniel are going to have words.
Uh-oh. He also is like,
Let
you
him
can
talk
tell
to
what
my
level
brother
of
for
mad I
like
am.
5 minutes.
Oh, God. I have a hard time understanding Alex. Legitimately. So, anyway, Dorothy meets Piggy at the bar. And Piggy gets to chatting with her. They're just having a good time, shooting the breeze. And he tells her that she runs a diamond mine. He has a bunch of diamond mines. And she's like, listen, don't tell nobody that you have diamond mines.
Especially my friend.
And he's like, yeah, especially my friend. It's literally like, as she's saying this, that Lorelai walks up and it's like, don't tell me what. And
diamonds.
Here's the thing. Yeah, did somebody say diamonds? Yes. Oh my gosh. And I love Dorothy's face. She's just like, oh, here we go. And so he tells her, he's like, yeah, I have a bunch of diamond mines, but Dorothy doesn't want me to tell anybody because apparently one of her friends is super, like grabby or whatever. And she's like, oh, really? What a shame. She's mad at Dorothy for not let her know that the rich man was rich.
Which is what Dorothy's there for.
Right. But also, like, I mean, at some point, this is what I was thinking throughout this whole movie. Lorelai would exhaust me.
I was exhausted watching the movie.
She is exhausting. And Dorothy is such a good, like, she's not just supportive in the way that, like, she's so supportive in every single way. And not even, I don't think in, like, a enabling way, but just in, like, as soon as she said, hey, don't tell my friend, and she came up, she's like, well, here we go. Anyway, like, she's not enabling her in that way, but she's also not like, you're doing the wrong thing and I hate you. Like, she's just like,
whatever.
It's your life, live it.
Yeah.
Live your life. Have fun. So Piggy and Lorelai start to dance, and Malone shows up
Monroe.
and is like, can I take this seat? Your friend's off with that guy. And Dorothy says, like, I've seen you and I wonder why you haven't come talk to me yet. Like, she admits that she's noticed him from afar, and he tries this whole maneuver about, well, I had some money, I'm just making so much money that, like, he tries to bring money into it, and she's trying to bait her. Yeah, but he's like, get out of here. I don't want your money. I don't need that, like, whatever. And he's like, oh, I must have misheard. It must clearly be it's clearly your friend who's into money, because why else would this really attractive woman be dancing with that guy? And she's like, oh, yeah. Like, she immediately just softens back up.
Yeah.
Like, she shuts him down. And he's like, well, clearly I misheard. Frau Schmidt from Sound of Music shows up.
Is that
as
her?
Piggy's wife. Yup.
Miss Piggy is from Sound of Music?
Yes.
I did not put that together.
Yes. She's the one who greets Maria. She's Frau Schmidt.
Huh.
She walks in and is like, the children, they sleep here. Like, as soon as she walked in, I was like, Frau Schmidt!
And the amount of times I've just seen that movie, I did not put that together.
AKA Norma Varden. She has a real name. Is Piggy's wife, which
Miss
shocks
Piggy.
all of them, including Piggy. Because Lorelai's like, oh, new husband. And then she shows up and he's like, oh, it's Lady Bickman, my wife. And they're like, your wife? Oh, no.
With all of her diamonds.
Yeah, so she's covered in diamonds, obviously. They have a diamond mine. But this part made me laugh so hard. They're talking about the diamonds. She said, and Lorelai's like, I love diamonds. Ooh, they're so beautiful. And she's like, you'll love my tiara. I carry it with me everywhere that I go.
She doesn't.
Because
she
I don't
can't
trust
put it
the
in the
safe.
estate rooms.
No. Girl, first of all, I would be wearing it, not carrying it. Like, that makes zero sense. But also, the whole thing makes zero sense. So, she shows her the tiara, and Lorelai doesn't know what a tiara is.
How do I put it
Or
around
how
my
to use
neck?
it. And it just... Anyway, she doesn't know how to use a tiara. They show her how to use a tiara. She immediately is taken with this tiara. She wants this tiara. And then they go. Lady Bickman demands that Piggy comes with her because she can smell the fire. She can see the smoke and smell the fire.
I think
about
that
what's about to happen.
one of the lines that Marylin says is one of the more iconic of this movie is like, oh, I just love learning new places to wear diamonds. When she figures out that you wear it on your head.
Yeah, she's like, I love learning how to wear my diamonds. And then I love Malone's line, as Lady Beckman's walking him out, he goes 2-1, she keeps him locked up for the rest of the crew. They immediately fall into, I weirdly love friendships like this. Like, I know it doesn't end up platonic, but I love platonic, like, 2 girls, 1 guy, 2 guys, 1 girl, like 3, like, I think if you do that right, it's so good.
Mm-hmm.
And the way that this starts, before the romance initially takes hold, like, they immediately, like, I'd love to know how much friends they were behind the scenes.
Yeah. Because
they immediately fall into it. And it's so good, and I love it. But yeah, he's like 2-1, she keeps him locked up. So they go to dinner. It flashes forward to dinner. These dresses. Marylin is in this iconic orange dress. And Jane is there too. But also looking stunning.
It's the dress that Dorothy changes into after when they're walking outside and you kind of see the romance happening that I was like...
Yeah. I think that's the same dress. It's just a shawl.
I didn't notice it until they were like... I didn't notice how beautiful her dress was, and it might be because I was looking at Marylin's character.
Honestly, I think it is that.
Because when she was by herself, I was like... that, and I even have the bluish black dress with a lace shawl that she puts over her head is gorgeous.
Yeah, so they go to dinner, and I also, like, weirdly enough, I'd love to know when that color came into fashion, because no one else is wearing that color.
The one that
and it's a
Marylin has on?
Marylin, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a very bright pop orange, like bright neon orange. Or I mean, I guess not neon, but it feels like it's border.
It's definitely bright compared to everybody else
Yeah.
in the scene.
And I paused it and I looked around. I know that the women aren't standing or whatever, but I like looked around the scene and I was like, nobody is dressed like them.
Mm-mm.
At all. Again, men are looking right, left and right. They get to their table. Everybody else's tables are little tables of 4. And theirs is like a table of 8, full of men, and then Lorelai and Dorothy.
Mm-hmm.
And she comes up and she's like, hey, where's Sir Henry, the third, or whatever? And he's like, he hasn't come down yet. And she's like, well, he better come down. Like, you better send someone to go get him or I'm going to go. And she makes the worst conversation in the world. And it makes me laugh. Like, she's just reading off a script at this point. Like,
and talking over everyone.
Airhead. Yet no one says anything. She's like, isn't the moon lovely? I just love cruises. Don't you love conversation? And the whole time, I mean, she is heaving her breast while she's talking. Like, every inhale is just, they're moving across the screen. Like, I am married to a man with a child, and I was like, girl, your boobs, put them away. Oh! But anyway, Sir Henry this, that, and the third, or whatever, comes up, is a child. How old do you think this little boy is?
He's got to be like 9.
I think he's 9. He is a child. And the way that they have him talk makes me laugh so hard.
I laugh even harder a little later on when we see him again.
Yes. He is so business.
Yeah.
So business. In speaking to them. And she's like, Dorothy, because Lorelai tells her, she's like, Dorothy, be nice. You better be nice. And she's like, well, so you here by yourself? Or, I don't know why I just gave her that accent. She's like, you're here by yourself? And like, what are you doing? And the kid's like, I'm here for business, but I'm here with my chauffeur. And blah, blah, blah. And like, he is so business.
Have you ever, you know what vibes it gave me? Have you seen this second Princess Diaries?
Yes.
When she's dancing.
Yes.
With the kid that's trying to act older. May I blow on
with
your
beans?
ear? Can you reach it?
Yes. 100%. Except for he has not really any interest in her, or so we think. Which is so funny to say.
Yeah.
Well, anyway. Yeah, so then Lorelai sends Dorothy and Malone on a walk.
Mm-hmm.
After they come to the room, and she's like, what a disappointing evening. And then she realizes that, oh no, they go to the bar. This isn't that scene. They go to the bar, and she's like, what a disappointing evening. And Malone gets some cigarettes. And then she sees Piggy come in, and she's like, and she realizes that Dorothy and Malone like each other.
Uh-huh.
And she's like, you guys should go for a walk. I got business to take care of. Mama's gotta go work.
She's got a diamond mine to get a hold of.
Yeah. So they end up kissing, and you find out later via third party that they made love.
Mm-hmm.
Because, you know, you don't see it. Of course, it's 1950s. Like, they kiss, it fades to black. It's the next morning.
Uh-huh.
And I love that Malone also asks her, he's like, why are you friends with Lorelai?
Mm-hmm.
Because, I'm exhausted. She's exhausting. And she just says she's a good friend. She's a good friend. We've been together
loyal.
this whole time. Like, she's loyal, and we'll be here.
Mm-hmm.
So we wake up, it's the blue coat, it's the white coat.
This
with
is
the blue
my
lining.
favorite outfit. I don't know if it's a bathing suit or if it's just one of a high-waisted cut. I was like, I need this. I want this. I want to wear this. Can I have it?
It's the same coat.
Yeah, just polka dot
But
and blue and white.
Yeah, it's just blue and, yeah. This outfit is so good.
And it's one of my
so
favorites. Good. And it's like, it's just supposed to be like a casual
Mine
outfit.
is the other one, but yeah. Yeah, super casual, super comfortable. Why am I wearing sweatpants, guys? Why am I in a t-shirt right now?
Yeah.
Give me, I guess because I don't have a sewing machine and I don't know how to sew. Whatever. I want to go buy that outfit, please. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So good. So anyway, she turns the corner in her drop-dead outfit and she finds Malone taking pictures through a porthole. And she's like, what is going on here?
In their cabin.
Oh yeah. It's in their cabin. She looks in, it's Piggy and Lorelai and they're talking.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, oh no. So she runs in and she's like, Piggy, Lady Bickman's coming over for tea. You need to, and he's like, oh, I'll just go. No, I don't want to stay. Whatever. And she asked her, she's like, what were you guys just doing? And she's like, she was teaching me Swahili. Or she was like, he's teaching Swahili. And she goes, before that, is there anything that, can be photographed as bad? She says, yeah, he was telling me a story. Emily, is this an innuendo?
It has to be.
Well, because the pictures don't look scandalous, actually. But I can't tell if this is an innuendo. Okay.
I feel like it
so
is.
She
says if you didn't know they were playing a part, like that he was playing a story, then the picture would seem scandalous.
So she says that Piggy was telling her about a story when they were in Africa about a python and how they were so strong and they wrapped up the goats when they ate the goats. She was the goat, he was the python.
Which, by the way.
Well, but part of me is like, are they both so idiotic? Because they are idiotic characters, both of them.
Mm-hmm.
Are they both so idiotic that this actually is what happened? Like, it's so dumb that it can't not be true? Or... Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I would think so, because I want to say Piggy doesn't understand that she's like hardcore flirting to like
he does
dethrone Miss Piggy, or not.
No, he 100%. I don't buy it for 2 seconds that he doesn't know what Lorelai wants. Now, whether or not he's actually going to give it to her, as we
obviously
will,
not, because he's afraid of Miss Piggy.
But yeah, that's why he ran from Miss Piggy. Yeah, like I think if they were doing innocent things or if he was feeling innocent thoughts, then he would not be the way that he is. But anyway, so whether or not it's an innuendo, they deduce correctly, more than I, that Malone is a private investigator hired by Lorelai's fiance's dad to catch her in the act of doing stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And they decide that they need to break into his cabin to get the camera footage, to get the film. So they set up Dorothy, which I understand why it had to be Dorothy. But for 2 reasons, this was wrong. Incorrect way to go about it. Number 1, Dorothy has no poker face at all. Because you cut to them sitting at the bar where they've been hanging out this whole time. And she is glowering. Like, she is angry.
Mm-hmm.
And Malone's like, hey, what's going on? She's like, yeah, no. And he's like, where's Lorelai? She's like, are you interested in my friend? And he's like,
Whoa, calm
your
down.
shadow's not here. Like, what the heck? Like, you guys have been glued at the hip. The second part of this reason that Lorelai is so dumb. Why would you send the idiot? The girl couldn't find her way out of a paper bag.
I don't understand how she got locked in the room.
Well, so he locked the room.
But can't you unlock it from the inside?
No, you couldn't. It was a double lock with the key.
Oh, okay.
I physically saw that.
Okay.
Like that, Yeah, so she sneaks into his estate room while the guy is cleaning. She hides behind the door. He shuts the door, doesn't see her somehow, shuts the door, locks her in. It's a double-sided lock, so you can lock from both,
Okay.
Yeah. And then, so she searches his room, which, like, she didn't, but okay. She looked at his sock drawer, looked at his, like, opened the other drawer, shut the other drawers, looked under. I was like, girl, why are you the one searching the room? But I understand that Dorothy's in love with Malone, Malone's in love with Dorothy. Like, I understand that it had to work for plot, but it didn't work in real life.
Yeah.
Is locked in and decides to climb out the porthole. And I love how she measures her hips.
Yeah, this will work.
Measures the... Yeah, this will work. She measures the porthole, brings them down to her hips, is like, yeah, totally fine. Do you ever remember seeing that? I think it was a Vine where, it might have even been like Thomas Sanders or one of them, where he's like trying to measure his TV, and he's like this, and he walks out his door, and he walks out, and he keeps walking, and somebody comes up and is like, hey man, and he's like, no!
Yeah. Yeah, I do remember that.
Okay, anyway, I love Vine, I miss it.
Yes.
So she measures it, she gets stuck, but not stuck, just kind of
Like, she can't,
like,
get up and over.
she can't get that oomph that she needs to swing through.
Yeah.
I mean, partially, I think it's supposed to be that she has a big butt, but then I think the other part of it is genuinely, like, her clothing is, she's wearing a skin-tight, whatever that fabric is.
Yeah.
Like, it's not a jersey knit, like, she can't stretch.
Yeah.
And then, little child 9-year-old shows
Are you
up.
a burglar?
Yeah, we didn't even talk about his speech impediment as he's talking about business.
I had to pause it and be like, this poor kid, are you a burglar? I literally said she got stuck in the porthole window. Are you a burglar?
Are you a burglar? Yeah. So the kid comes up and is like, what are you doing? She's like, I'm not a burglar. I just got stuck. And he's like, why don't you use the key? And she's like, I don't have it. I was waiting for my friend. Or I don't remember what excuse she gives. It's pretty lame. And then she convinces him to help her out. And he's like, I will, because I don't want to go to jail, and I'm now an accessory. And also because you're not too bad looking.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you're not bad for the animalistic senses or something like that. Like, oh, you have a strong animal magnetism.
Yeah.
But he says it like a 9-year-old. With this, you have a strong animal magnetism. Like, so as he's trying to help her, Piggy comes up. And so the kid gives her a blanket to, like, hold.
Mm-hmm.
So that it looks like she's
standing, but
sitting on the railing.
She's like she's standing on something because she's taller than usual.
Yeah, and he's like, what are you doing? She's like, I'm just taking in the night air. Like,
the view's better
up
like, here.
Oh, the view's better, yeah. And he's like, oh, my dear, you do look a bit pale. Let me see your hand. And she's like, oh no, well the kid sticks out his hand.
I got Little Rascals vibes.
Arm. I did too. What's that? I wonder if that kid was on Little Rascals. Let's go find him really quick and actually give him the correct name. Yeah. Henry. I had Henry. Henry. Oh, I had the third. I just didn't have his name. Henry Spooford.
Spooford. Yeah.
Henry Spooford the third.
George Winslow.
George Winslow. No Little Rascals. Anyway, he sticks out his hand. Henry sticks out his hand, and is like, he's like, oh wow, you have such petite hands. You're so beautiful. He starts kissing it, and the kid goes, stop that. But my favorite is Marylin's response. So he's like, what? And she's like, I gotta chill.
God touch of laryngitis.
I got a touch of laryngitis. You should get away.
Go fetch me that sherry and bring it back.
Yeah, because he's like, do you need some sherry? And she's like, yes. And so he turns around and the kid's like, just go. Get out. Like, it's a funny, cute moment. He ends up helping her out. They can't, so they didn't find the film, obviously. Mm-hmm. And Lorelai's like, well, it can only be in his pants. Like, it can only be in his pockets. And she's like, should you do it or should I? She's like, we should both do it. Between the two of us, if we can't take his pants off, we don't deserve the name of woman.
Yeah.
Or we're not worthy of the name. And
she's
woman.
Already on the phone with her before that and was like, I'm bruised. She's like, why are you bruised?
Yeah. And I love that. She's like, why are you bruised? She's like, Mr. Sparford. What did we say his name was?
Who knows? Because I can't hear
Mr. Spooford. Mr. Spooford, a.k.a. the 9-year-old, pulled too hard. And Dorothy's like, what? No.
She's like, never mind.
Never mind. So Lorelai sets it up. She knows how to get a man's pants off. She turns the heat on. She drugs this man
3 sleeping
pills. Equal parts of sherry, vodka, gin, and something else. And then theirs is just water and bitters. So it looks like it's alcohol, but it's not.
She made the first Long Island iced tea without the Sprite or whatever.
And with extra. Yeah. With whatever, yeah. I have here, I said, at this point, is this an accidental murder movie now?
Yeah. I said, is she trying to kill him? That plus pouring out copious amounts of different alcohol.
I genuinely thought that the rest of the plot was going to go, they accidentally killed this guy. They have to bumble their way through it and figure out how to, like, make it look like he didn't get murdered or whatever. But obviously the guy's dad was going to be like, I hired someone, she killed him. Yeah. And then at the end, they were going to have to, like, run away. I didn't know exactly how, but I was like, this is an accidental murder plot now. But it wasn't. He survived. Man survived. So he comes in and
back, and he's like, what are you girls made of? Because they didn't act like anything.
Oh, yeah. I love that. She shoots it back. This happens, like, so fast. Mm-hmm. He walks in and he's like, it's hot in here. She's like, yeah, take off your jacket. And he's like, oh, okay. She's like, here, drink this. He shoots it back. And he's like, Jesus Christ. She's like, oh, was that bad? Here, take this. So he drinks that. And he's like, what are you girls made of? What was that? She's like, oh, it's vodka. Do you want some more? And he's like, oh. And he's like, just turn down the heat. I mean, this is happening so fast. They finally take his pants off. And he's like, what kind of dinner party is this? And then the concierge comes in. Oh, they get his pants off by accidentally spilling water.
Actual water, yeah. Accidentally.
Yeah. So the concierge comes in and is like, yeah, he's like, oh, la la. And they're like, take him back home, quick. He's not feeling well. He needs to lay down. We'll give him his pants back later. They go through everything. They find his pants. And then they get the picture made. Because you can get the pictures made there. Okay. Sidebar question, but not really sidebar as in not the podcast, just in general, away from this movie. Do you think that Roger Rabbit took any of the plot and inspiration from this movie?
Like Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
Yep.
With the, probably, now that I think about it, with her, like, walking and taking pictures, and he's like, why? Why would you do that to me? Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I
had to.
Oh, yeah. I tried to make her look like Rita Hayworth. No, this felt, I got major Jessica Rabbit vibes from this. Because of the pictures. You remember they were playing patty cake?
Yeah.
And it was quote unquote harmless, but it wasn't harmless. Like, I was like, wait a minute. And then
now
later,
that you say that, I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, and then the Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend dress looks like Jessica Rabbit's dress, but not.
But hers is purple.
Yeah, I literally was like, is this like where they got that from?
Had to have been.
Because it truly reminded me of that. Because the picture, again, looks like he's hugging her. That doesn't look like it's an intimate hug either.
Yeah, because she's going like, oh my gosh.
Oh, yeah, no. Yeah, so anyway, back to the actual plot. They take the pictures to Piggy, or I say Lorelai takes the pictures to Piggy. I don't know why Piggy got involved. But she takes the pictures, and he's like, oh, thank you. How can I ever repay you? And she's like, get me your wife's TR.
That's why she took him the pictures.
Girl, what? Oh, that's fair, yeah.
Because she wanted payment to be like, I saved you from this horrible mistake.
Yeah. She says the line, but doesn't sing the song, because he gives her a kiss. She says, a kiss on the hand might be great.
But diamonds are a girl's best friend.
But diamonds are a girl's best friend.
A kiss on the hand, maybe quite continental. Sorry.
So Dorothy comes back into the room. Malone's in the room, and he's like, listen here, give me my camera back. I'm going after Lee. And she's like, this whole thing was a game. You can't take Lee, whatever. You can't take Lorelai. And I'm not gonna, he's like, I never played with you. She's like, I can't believe you used me. He's like, I never used you. She says, I can't believe you made love to me as you were going after my best friend. Yeah. They confirmed that they had, premarital, one night standing. Mm-hmm. And he's like, I never lied to you. This was, everything other than that was true. Which, woo, okay. And then I love Lorelai, again, she does the thing. She comes in, she's like, pray tell, scat.
The whole scene, I was like, what is she even saying?
Thank you ever so. But when she said, pray scat, I was like, oh, girl, you don't know what you're saying. So they finally land in Paris. I feel like we've been on the cruise ship forever, which we have. I forgot that the whole point was they were going to Paris.
Yeah.
They land in Paris, and the way that Marylin has her beret when they get in the taxi, mm-hmm. I thought she had split dye hair. Like Corella. Mm-hmm. And I was like, this is 1950, but it's just a beret, and I was really sad because I thought she looked really cute. They decide to go shopping. And I really liked the little, the flashing of seeing actual brands mm-hmm. that are still around, like Dior, Balenciaga. That was really cool.
Yeah.
Seeing all the brands that they went shopping. They have just spent a poop ton of money mm-hmm. because Gus Esmond had given them credit, apparently. Uh-huh. Or so we thought. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So they arrived to the hotel. I hate Dorothy's blue and pink outfit. It's a blue dress, which is like a regular 1950s silhouette, but it's got a baby pink bib mm-hmm. and a pink hat, and I don't understand. That was the one miss that I was like, guys, what did we do here? Because Marylin, again, looks phenomenal.
Yeah, and her Parisian outfit. Yeah. In Paris.
So the hotel is waiting for them. Ooh, interesting. And Lorelai's like, of course you are. Well, they walk into the room, and it's Malone and Lady Piggy with her lawyer.
Yeah, and the lawyer, yeah.
And she's like, my tiara's been stolen. It's her insurance agent. And she's like, my tiara's been stolen. Give it back. And Dorothy's like, she doesn't have the tiara. Dorothy's like, girl, you got the wrong one. She's going at Lorelai's saying nothing. Lorelai's not saying anything. And then she's like, you can see where Dorothy realizes that Lorelai has it. She's like, no, she doesn't, you can just see that, she knows her friend, and she knows that she has it.
Yeah.
And Lorelai's like, I'm not giving you anything back. It's my tiara. No, Piggy gave it to me, and Piggy sold her down the river. Uh-huh. That's the other thing, too. So she says Piggy gave it to me, which he did.
Wait, I don't understand. Doesn't Malone That's really hard for me to say. Have a recording of this whole situation that he gave it to her?
No.
Didn't he record
I
that
think
entire conversation?
apparently not. I think that he recorded. Maybe I don't know. That's a good point.
Because the whole time I'm like, I thought he was gonna be like, I have a recording. Here it is. Like, she's not lying. Like, the entire time, I thought that was gonna pop up, but nope, never did. So it's like, I could have
That's
sworn
an interesting point.
He that's one of his last things, because he doesn't have the picture anymore. So he got a recording and
Yeah.
recorded that whole conversation between them.
I don't know. That's interesting. I didn't think about that. I didn't really know why the box was there to begin with, but that's a good point. So, Esmond says, "I'm no longer your fiance, and you no longer have credit. Good luck."
Mm-hmm.
They go.
And I canceled your reservation.
Oh yeah, cancel your reservation, cancel your credit, nothing. They go to the middle of Paris again. Are we just singing in our brain, or are we singing with? Because now people are interacting. And let me just tell you, I don't know if America has jaded us, or like the time has jaded us. But if two girls started singing about like when love goes wrong, it never goes right, and doing walkography, people would like call the police.
Yeah, I don't know if
Like,
it was because they're two American women and they're in Paris, so they were like, we're gonna watch these pretty girls sing. I don't know.
I don't know. And then the two like little traveler kids, like they were okay. The way that, have you seen Cry Baby? I know it's on our list.
Mm-mm.
Okay, so I'm assuming that Cry Baby, there's a scene in Cry Baby that I think takes inspiration from Marylin or Marylin-esque, because the way that she boom boom dum 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 boom boom is very. Cry Baby does something similar, and I immediately was like, is that the inspiration? Apparently, both of their bodies were dubbed by the dance captain.
Because one was too sexy and the other one wasn't at all.
Yeah, because Russel was not sexy and Marylin was too sexy. So Gwen Verdon actually like dubbed their bodies
Cracks me up
a couple times to like tone them down. Specifically the hip area.
Yeah.
So that's funny. And I also was like, it's a lot of walkography with the exception of the song at the pool. There's a lot of like step over here, shimmy,
Point
shimmy,
over
step
there.
over there. Yeah, like it's not a very dance heavy musical at all. Compared to, I mean, you think about freaking Singing in the Rain and you think about things like that, and you're like, I thought that was a very interesting like contrast.
Well, I had to look up at one point, and I meant to mention this earlier, is like, is this still technically a musical? Because there for a little while, there was no singing. It was just plot. But then I was like, no, it's a musical. There's just not like a song every scene.
Yeah, and I mean that's hard. That's hard too, because I think that a lot of ways that musicals get to people, like I have listened to, or I had listened to, like Hamilton or Wicked before you see it, and there's no talking in between. It's just the songs. So I feel like you have that expectation, but then you like that doesn't actually make sense unless you do a whole Les Mis.
Yeah.
Which, while beautiful in its own right, can be exhausting to like, my head itches, well, scratch it please, well, let me walk over here, I've got to pee. Like, that is exhausting versus, you know, when you actually have talking in between and stuff. So
yeah,
I think it's hard to figure out that line.
I was just expecting like a song like maybe every other scene or something like that, but it was like a few songs sprinkled in, regular movie, a song here or there, regular movie.
That's fair. You really could take out nothing. Nothing here drives the plot. None of the songs drive the plot.
No, because most of the songs, they're in their show, too.
Yeah.
Or they're putting on
true.
some form of show. I mean, it's definitely a musical, but there for a little while I was like, are there more, like, songs in here other than just, like, the handful at the beginning? But after I said that, there was, like, a song the next scene, so I was like, there we go.
Yeah, I definitely... It's hard because, yeah, I mean, if you think about it, you take out all of the music, and this would still be a decent movie.
Mm-hmm.
Or a, not even decent or good, but, like, a presentable movie.
Yeah, like it could stand alone without the songs.
Yeah. So they end up getting a job as cabaret singers in America.
Very popular ones, apparently.
Yeah. They, as American cabaret, that's their shtick. That's why I said that. They get jobs as American cabaret singers in Paris.
Uh-huh.
And we have no idea how much time has passed.
Mm-mm.
Because they are well established and very popular when we next see them.
Mm-hmm.
And who shows up? Gus Esmond, Boy Wonder, and he's like, "Oh, Marylin, or Lorelai, I love you," and the line is, "I want a man to love me, who will trust me no matter what I do."
Uh-huh.
And he's like, "What? No matter what you do?" Like, this makes no sense. Which it doesn't make any sense. But he's basically like, I love you no matter what. And she's like, no, you hired a private investigator. You are upset that I talked to Piggy. And he's like, I mean, yeah, kind of. And she's like, no matter what I do, you should still love me. And he's like, what? Again, so here's another part. So she goes to do her song. She goes to do the Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend song. This is what Dorothy says to her that makes no sense to me. Again, I don't know what this innuendo was. She says, if you really want to go get upset, go out and see the number she does next. He points to something off camera to the, like, bottom left. And is like, you mean? And she just goes, ha, 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 as he, like, runs away.
Yeah, because I was thinking it was going to be more risque or something.
I watched that. I rewound it and, like, paused and looked. I have no idea what the joke is.
Me either. I was honestly confused too because I was expecting her. I wasn't expecting it to be Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend. Like, I wasn't expecting the iconic pink dress. I was expecting her to be like in something very, very risque. For her to be like
tassels.
Just wait. Just wait until you see what she's wearing next is kind of what I thought. But it was...
I just couldn't grasp it.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
But I love that
so
scene. I love the Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend scene.
I was waiting for it the whole time.
Yeah.
I had no idea upon, like, listening and watching. I had no idea where the plot, like, where it was.
I didn't either. But as soon as I saw the red... the red background with the men.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, here we go.
Dude, the women were chandeliers.
I literally have.
And candelabras.
I literally have the girls holding the candles' arms must be hurting.
The women dangling from the chandelier must be hurt. They're my flabbers were gasted. I did not understand what was happening. So they sing Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend. They come back, and she tells them, she's like, the thing that sucks is I really do love Gus. I love that he never wins an argument. I love that he never tells me what to do. Like, or he'll do anything that I say. Like, she loves how weak he is. Which is like, girl.
Which Dorothy's like,
okay.
Seriously?
Yeah. So while this is happening, Esmond's dad is coming to get him. Capital Esmond is coming to get lowercase Esmond. And he's like, where's this Lorelai? He came to find her, and he's like, they're at the club, they can't get in much trouble. He's like, he can't be in a city radius with her. Like, she'll suck him in. And while they're at the airport, like, Malone notices that Piggy is at the airport. And Piggy tries to, like, dodge him. So he comes up and he's like, Mr. Beekman or Lord Beekman. He's like, no, not me. And he's
like Mr. Fig or something like that.
Yeah. And he's
gives
like,
him like
yeah,
a fake
you are.
name.
He's like, uh-huh. Oh, yeah. And then he goes, are you the guy from the cruise? And he's like, yeah. He's like, oh, yeah, haha, I was playing a joke. Anyway, gotta run. Like, it was just a weird, nervous energy, which I guess makes sense because he took pictures of him, but, like, still, okay.
Yeah.
So he tries to dodge him, and they come, like, as they're all in the backstage.
Well, he gives Lorelai a message.
Yeah, the Lorelai gets a message that the police are coming.
No.
The police are here, they have a warrant.
Piggy gives Malone a message of, I'm sorry, tell Lorelai I'm sorry. I had to lie.
I had to do it.
Like, I had to lie and say that I didn't give her the tiara.
Yeah.
Tell her I'm sorry, and I'll make it up to her sooner or later.
Yeah, so he tells her to give Lorelai a message. He's like, okay, sure. Then the cops are trying to get Lorelai. They have a warrant for her arrest. They're ready to go. So Lorelai is like, Dorothy's like, give them back the tiara. Like, just give it back. It's been stolen. No idea where it is. Somebody actually stole the stolen tiara. So she's like, how much do you think a tiara is worth? She said, $15,000. She says, give me 5 minutes with Esmond. Give me 5 minutes with lowercase Esmond. I got this. And Dorothy's like, great, no problem. I got this. And she's like, well, what are you going to do? She's like, I have my own tricks. Dorothy dresses up, puts on a blonde wig, and dresses up as Lorelai while Lorelai takes Esmond to the back room for $15,000. She's trying to get that out of him. She says, I need 5 minutes. That's all I need. Girl, what?
Yeah.
Anyway, so Dorothy kills it as Lorelai. She knows her friend. It was Jane Russell playing Dorothy, playing
Lorelai.
Marylin Monroe, Lorelai. Like, it could have been the same person. It was so good. So she goes to night court. She's wearing this fur, and she is just being Lorelai and just killing it. And at one point, the insurance guy who has, like, Coke bottle glasses is like, I don't know that this is, So he comes up, and she's like, oh, you're so handsome. You're so beautiful. Did you ever hear me sing? And he's like, no. She goes, thank you ever so. Strips off, is in a showgirl outfit, and starts singing the reprise of Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend, which also sounded really good.
Yeah, and everybody's eating it up except for the judge.
Oh, yeah, the judge is fuming. The judge is like, we need order in this court, and everybody else is going nuts. Pause. In the original Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend, so they wanted our girl Marnie to dub her for the whole movie. Marnie Nixon, a.k.a. Audrey Hepburn's voice in My Fair Lady, a.k.a. the one song of Sound and Music for Julie Andrews, a.k.a. everyone in West Side Story, even though Nina West didn't know. So they wanted Marnie to sing all of Marylin's music. And Marty was like, why? She sounds awesome. It fits her character. So the only thing that Marnie dubbed were the notes.
Yeah. Which
Marilyn Monroe's
blatantly obvious.
Oh, yeah. So Marylin is in no way a soprano at all. And these are very... No. These are very sopranic.
While she's socking men with her...
Oh, yeah. Slap. Yeah. So the only thing that Marnie dubbed was the nose. So back to Jane at the courthouse going amok. She,
Sorry. You did it.
Malone walks in. I know. I triggered you. Malone walks in and he's like, that's not Lorelai, that's Dorothy.
Mm-hmm.
So he's about to tell the judge, and Dorothy goes, wait, tell Mr. Malone that her friend Dorothy thinks she's in love with him, and that she'll be ever so upset if he says anything. And Malone's like, I resign from the case. I don't have anything to say, Judge. And the guy's like, this is okay, whatever. So he immediately is like, yep, I want this girl. I love her, blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
So finally, he's like, oh, I know where the tiara is. I have no idea how this happened.
I don't either.
So he says, I know where the tiara is. I know who has the tiara. It's obvious. I need 15 minutes. And the judge is like, at this point, I don't even care. I just want to go smoke my cigarettes. And, like, I need to go home and go take a nap. So he goes to Piggy. Brings Piggy in. Piggy has the tiara. How does Piggy have the tiara? I don't know.
How did Piggy know where it was in the dressing room?
Well, also, and then he said, I think the judge says Lorelai needs to hand over the tiara. So they hand the tiara, like, in a big circle back to Piggy. Okay. And then they're like, we can all go home. And I think at this point, the judge is just so done that he's like, that, whatever, I don't even care. Like, I have no questions, no follow-up, we gotta go.
Yeah.
So they go to the club, and lowercase Esmond is like, hey, I am going to marry this girl. And he's like, and uppercase is like, as long as it's not Lorelai. And she's like, but I am Lorelai. And he's like, no, you're not. And she's like, yes, I am. Here, look. And he's like, oh my God, what's happening? Like, everybody's just confused.
And I had seen this scene before where.
Oh, really?
Yeah, where he says you're just for his money or something like that. And she's like, no. I'm marrying him for your money. Yeah, which, like, apparently Marylin wanted to do that whole line, or she made up this whole line during the speech of, like, I'm actually very smart, but I don't think men like it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can look it up.
But okay. And I don't understand what she even meant. I can be smart when it's important,
but men don't like it. But most men don't like it.
Yeah. And, like, I don't understand what she was even saying of, like, oh, I want to marry you for your money. Like, that, the whole thing made no sense to me.
It did for me because she's saying, of course I'm marrying for money because why wouldn't I marry for money? It's the same thing as you wanting to marry a pretty woman. If you had a daughter that was pretty, wouldn't you want her to marry rich?
Yeah, and she also says, like, having money means I don't need to worry about stuff, and, like, I can have, like...
She's obviously thought it through, because the whole time...
Yeah.
The, Papa Esmond is like, what?
I think everybody at this point, including myself, is just confused. So it ends on a double cruise wedding. They're at a wedding. It's their wedding. They are having a double wedding. Okay, this is my only qualm with this whole thing. I don't care that they're having a double wedding on a cruise. That's kind of cute. It's a throwback to, it's an homage, whatever. I hate that they're wearing the same dress.
Yeah, I have that in my notes too. But before we go to that, I wrote down this because this is my last cringe. Was when they were talking, when she's talking to Gus and his father, because she turns to Gus and she calls him Daddy again. And Esmond Sr. is like, what?
Not you, Daddy,
Not
Daddy.
You, Daddy.
I guess I should call you Sonny.
I was like, ew.
And then she says, I need 5 minutes alone with your dad.
Yeah. And then voila, they're getting married.
Girl, what? Yeah. So they're getting married now, and I really hate that they had the same dress because they don't have the same style.
Mm-mm. I wish it would have been like more of their. The dresses were gorgeous. Don't get me wrong, but the whole entire movie they've had like different equally like
distinct.
as beautiful, because obviously both of our
Yeah.
favorite outfits is a Dorothy outfit, but you see
Yes.
distinguish like they have a different style, they're both gorgeous, so why not do that again for the wedding dresses? And I don't
Yeah.
think them as women would wear the like stereotypical lace, and I say this, and I had lace sleeves, T length to the like right above their
It
shins.
they weren't yeah, they weren't the best dresses in general anyway, in my opinion. Considering that we had seen so much fabulous fashion this whole movie,
Yeah,
I was expecting more.
yeah. I feel
And I
like
was expecting them to be different.
yeah, I feel like Lorelai's would have been like more form fitting, like that
Yeah.
hourglass like cut,
Yeah.
and then like Dorothy would have like some off the shoulder like beautiful long train or something.
Yeah. I agree with you 100%
Not like the
actually.
same, literally the same copy paste.
Yeah. I didn't like that, but that's how it ended and everybody sailed off into the sunset.
Hmm.
Overall, like a like a 3.
I would give it like a 4 or 5. There's no nostalgia other than I've heard Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend from that movie, and more
Moulin
specifically
Rouge.
from Moulin Rouge,
Yeah.
which I mean I've seen it from both. I knew it was from Gentlemen's Prefer Blonde.
I I really missed. I understand that it's iconic. I understand that it influenced a lot of things. I missed the camp that Moulin Rouge brought to that song.
And the word
Like
change.
while she and the word change, yeah. But while she was singing and she was going like, oh, oh,
Yeah,
oh, like I missed a little bit of the camp to it because I don't know, I just did.
yeah, and they changed a few words in the song too.
Yeah, they all well, yeah, they changed the won't help you at the automat, and it's won't help you feed your pussycat, and like
That's an innuendo.
yeah, so so I mean I get it, but I did miss that a little bit. I was a little bit like,
Yeah, and they
oh,
changed the
okay,
"Talk to
like
Me" Harry Winston to "Talk to Me" um,
Harry
Henry
Ziegfeld.
Ziegfeld. Yeah, tell me all about it.
But I mean that's because of
Well,
Ziegfeld.
yeah, I know. And Harry Winston is a big diamond owner or brand or something.
Yeah,
I know why they did it, but the whole time I'm like, this is
talk
weird.
to me, Harry
Yeah.
Ziegfeld. Tell me about it. Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, I think this was a good movie. I thought it was fine. I don't. It's not my favorite. There was
I was
nothing.
expecting to like it more.
Me too. I think that's why I have it so low. I think that's why I put it at a 3. Because I almost said 4, and then I was like, no, like a 3.
I thought it was a good movie, but I was expecting to like it more. I was expecting to know more songs, but literally I only knew Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend. I feel like I maybe have heard the Little Rock opening song like once, but I also thought of
Yeah.
Reba. Have you ever heard her song Little Rock?
No. I don't think
It's
so.
basically about like her wedding band being a Little Rock, but she's also from Little Rock. Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. So the whole time.
Reba.
Hmm.
Ugh, something is. Ouch.
Um, so yeah, I liked it, but I expected to like it more. There was no nostalgia because I've never seen it.
I I also like recently started watched Some Like It Hot, and it's not a, I mean they are in a band and they do like a song, but I cackled through that movie, and it's so funny, and Marylin's so funny, and like everything. So I think that I felt like I was missing a lot.
Yeah. See,
And I think that was my expectations versus the movie. That's not the movie's fault.
yeah. I don't know. I didn't really know what to expect from Marilyn because I honestly didn't grow up watching her movies. I don't know why.
That's
I,
true.
I don't I don't know that I've seen a full movie of Marilyn Monroe's all the way through until watching Gentlemen Prefer Blondes. If I'm being like
Yeah.
I can name ones that she's been in, but like 7 Year Itch or How to Marry a Millionaire, I've heard of them, but I've never seen them.
Well, also too, I mean, you think about like who is presenting these things and who are they being presented to. So like they came out in the 50s, which is like your grandparents. Are your grandparents going to present Marilyn Monroe to their
No,
children? Are they
my
going to present
parents and
like
grandparents are gonna have me watch Audrey Hepburn and Judy Garland and Gene Kelly
right?
and Fred
And or
Astaire.
Shirley Temple
Yeah,
was like a big introduction to us, you know. So it's one of those things where you have to think about the audience and like who's presenting it, because I mean, who is showing you Marilyn Monroe ever?
yeah.
You know,
I
I
know
mean, you see her all over, but like who's
we have more of her movies on our list, so I mean, there's going to be a chance that we watch another Marilyn Monroe movie.
oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm interested to see. I hope that she's not the same character. She plays in Some Like It Hot. She is a similar character, but she's a lot sadder. Like she's a lot
I
sadder,
don't know
and
if it's
it's
because
not.
I've seen like her speak, like put on that kind of facade
Mm,
before that makes me think that's the way her all of her characters end up being. Because I mean, you
yeah.
think of the Happy Birthday, Mr. President. You think of
God, I would have
some of her. I mean,
just
even she puts
melted
on the
into a
facade when
floor.
she's doing interviews, because
Yeah,
they changed her from Norma Jean to Marilyn Monroe, and so
Marilyn Monroe.
she's essentially playing a character all the time.
It's really
It is
sad.
really sad. Not next time, but when we come back from our special show coming up after this one.
Mm.
Let me find the generator. All, all the tabs that I have open. Okay. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Drum roll.
Is it Wizard of Oz? No.
My Fair Lady. Sorry.
What? Oh! Yay! I love My Fair Lady.
Me too.
So good.
It's way up there. Man, it's way up there. Like a close second to Wizard of Oz.
I
Oh,
love My Fair Lady.
I'm so excited. I love Audrey Hepburn, as you well know. Sorry. Okay, so we have a special episode
Okay,
next
so
week, and then we're gonna
oh yeah.
watch My Fair Lady. Well, thank you guys so much for watching our episode 9 of That's One of My
Woo!
Favorites. Next time it'll be episode 10, and we didn't plan this, but it worked out great that we have a special
I was just about to
episode
say that.
coming your way. Because we'll actually be together. We're not going to tell you exactly what we're doing or who our special guest is, so you'll have to tune in. Um, but you can find us on YouTube or Spotify at That's One of My Favorites. If you have suggestions or just want to give us, like a shout out, email us at oneofmyfaves@gmail.com. So yeah.
We have not ever received an email yet, but it'll be fun when we do.
Yes.
If we do. We would love to actually hear from you. We know we have had a couple of technicalities or technical difficulties, but like I'd love to hear from you. Just say, hey, I'm watching it. Maybe, oh my gosh, if you rated it, like I would cry of like happiness as long as it was happiness, and I would cry of sadness if it was bad. So
What do
like
you mean?
you can rate things and you can like email us and like I can take constructive criticism sometimes, so.
Sometimes.
So, sometimes I'm not gonna be dishonest.
Yeah. No.
But yay! Thank you for listening.
Yeah, we're excited.
See you next time.
Bye. I don't blame you. I have a giant thing of tea, so.
Well, I also like scarfed down some popcorn like right before we started, so I'm like, is this a tickle or is this popcorn? Like, welcome to my ASMR channel.
Please don't. Those set me on edge, not relax me. Every time I scroll past one of those, I'm like, nope.